Blog Talk Radio.
There's a mystery lurking the forested areas of the world. Many have seen something, but what is it? Are they seeing known animals? They claim they walk upright, like a human. There are so many eyewitnesses. Can they all be wrong? Is someone just playing a trick on people? Or is it possible a large bipedal being could exist in the forests of the world? You have a decision to make. Do you believe it exists? These are the topics we discuss on Sasquatch Watch Radio. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Today is July 16th, 2013, and I don't know about y'all's part of the country, but it's hot here today. We were up in approaching the triple digits, but I'll tell you what, in that sunlight, it is hot. Tomorrow's supposed to be worse, and I'm not looking forward to it because I got to work outside tomorrow, so. Anyway, we'll bring our co-host on, who's in the cooler of the country. Creature Seeker Bruce, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Billy?
Doing just fine.
It's only like 4 degrees cooler up here than it is where you are, so I wouldn't get out the mucklucks just yet.
Come on, man. I know there's probably a frost zone going in there right now.
I'd love to have one right now because I tell you, it is pretty warm. But.
Sure. Well, before we get to our guest tonight, how about you tell us a little bit? I understand that you had a little bit of this past week. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Billy, you're cutting out a little bit, but I think you're asking about the Creature Weekend camp out over this past weekend. Is that what you're referring to? Well, it was, it was a blast. It was just a lot of fun. I thank all the people who showed up for it. They really made it special. It was, just to give you a quick recap, I showed up Wednesday, and there was some sort of hurricane going on or something. It was like 70-mile-an-hour winds. Have you ever tried to set up a tent, 70-mile-an-hour winds?
Yeah, I think we have up in Dolly Sods.
I forgot about that. But I just gave up. I said, I just got a room at the lodge that night. And then on Thursday, everyone started showing up. And we did, there's this place called Jurassic Park right across from where we were camping out. And they're having this thing for kids. There's they call it the Bigfoot Lockdown. And they just had kids spend the night there. And they, they're just, their mission is just to talk about nature and educate people about, the great outdoors and how we should conserve it and all that good stuff. So it's really good, great organization. And they did this tour thing, and we did sort of a mini Bigfoot lantern tour for the kids. So, we had people stationed on this trail out there at night, and all the kids would come by in groups, and we recount some sighting stories. And we were showing the kids how to do this whoop, and we said, all right, we're going to do one big whoop as a group, and we did that, and then we heard a return whoop, and we thought it was other people in our group because it was so loud and clear. We thought, all right, for sure, it's like Terry and Treba who were up, in that direction. We get up, after everything's all said and done, we get up there, and we said, oh, hey, we heard your whoop. And Terry and Treba said, we didn't do a whoop. We heard it. It was loud and clear, but we didn't do it. So since there were only, it's private property. So the only people were all the people where we were, and Terry and Treba were in their car at the time. So to this day, it remains a mystery where that whoop came from, and we all heard it, and it was loud and clear. And we were just sure that, Terry and Treba did it, but that's not. Let's see. And then Friday, people started showing up. We had some people who listen to the show show up. There's Steve and his son Hunter. Steve has this little hibachi thing, Billy. It's like it's shaped, but it's egg-shaped. It looks like you remember that Kecksburg UFO incident in Pennsylvania in 1965? Well, it's shaped like that. It's shaped like that UFO that they allegedly recovered. So
the bell.
It kind of freaked me out. It kind of freaked me out, Billy, because every now and then I look over there and I wouldn't see Hunter or his dad, and I'd see that little Kecksburg UFO thing, and then I think to myself, I hope no one got abducted,
And wasn't that called the bell? Wasn't that called the bell?
The what?
The bell.
Oh yes, that's what it was called. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. And Melinda and her husband Bill showed up. Now, Billy, everyone makes fun of me for having a huge tent. That's why you guys call it the Taj Mahal. Yeah. Melinda and Bill show up with this it was like a condo unit. Okay. I couldn't even get a tour of it because they wanted first and last month's rent. It's huge. It puts my tent to shame. So I don't want to hear any more crap about the Taj Mahal. All right, because there are people out there other than me who are living large at these campouts. I'm talking large. So that was a lot of fun. The Rupert showed up, the Seaches, Tim and Linda and their family, and it really was a lot of fun. We went horseback riding on Saturday. There's about 15 of us who went horseback riding. Lots of fun. The horses are in the stable, so when we get them out on the trail, Billy, they're like, look at all this lush grass, and they start chowing. So, at first you're kind of like, hey, I'm paying for this ride. You're not chowing on my time. So, you're like, come on, let's go. But they're so persistent. It's kind of like when you're married and your spouse does something you don't like. At first you're like, hey, I'm not good with this, but if they keep doing it, your attitude's like, yeah, whatever. You're just I can't stop you from maxing out the credit card for the 15th time. So you just get really lax about it. Let's see, and then we did an expedition. We went out to Morgan's Knob Saturday night, and pretty much everyone walked the trail. We went out to where the kids had that Bigfoot sighting near the picnic tables, and I've been on that trail many times, but it was the first time at night we went out that far, and it is like full-on spooky. You really have to keep your imagination in check when you go out there, But that was really cool to see that sighting location. We're showing people how to do call blasting and wood knocking and stuff like that. And then I tried to make a video, and Melissa was originally going to do the video, and it was a video on just track casting. She did just a great job with it at Creature Weekend. So I had asked her, hey, do you want to do a video at this campout, the Creature Weekend campout, on track casting? And, she couldn't make it. I forget the excuse she gave me. Something about, she didn't want to miss the Gilligan's Island Marathon on Nickelodeon. So anyway, she said, Dave Rupert. So I said, all right, well, Dave's like a seasoned, investigator. So, all right. So I asked Dave, hey, do you want to do this video? And he said, yeah, sure. Now, I should have had Dave do like a quick run-through before I started videoing, but we didn't really have enough plaster. So So, you know, and he's done it like 1,000 times, so I just started rolling the camera. And like with most things, Dave Rupert, he has this like proven uncanny ability to ruin events with his mere presence. And he was not taking it seriously. I wanted like a really nice video, like a serious like how-to video, but he was not taking it seriously, Billy. He's talking about, you know, his getting clothes at Walmart and stuff like that. And I'm like, listen, Dave, we're not here to plug your fashion values. We just want to make this video. And so, you know, it just was a train wreck, Billy. It was just a train wreck. And I think it ended up with, you know, him calling me a multi-cameraman and, you know, me being really critical of his track casting method because he, you know, he doesn't have one. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, and I have the video, and I don't know what to do with it. So, do you think I should post it? Do you think I should actually put it up there and let people see what a goof he is, or the fact that you know, I don't know. What should I do, Billy? You think I should post it?
Well, you could call it the track casting comedy show or something, you know.
Yeah, I mean, because it really has. I mean, it has entertainment value, but that's really the only value it has. I mean, you can't learn anything from it unless you're gonna say like, here's what not to do.
Right.
Right. Just really,
you could call it the do's and don'ts.
Yeah. I mean, you know, for example, when he was pouring the plaster in the track, he was pouring the plaster like around the outside edges of the track, and I was like, Dave, we don't really have a lot of plaster, and you know, you're pouring the plaster like you're pouring Alfredo sauce on your fettuccine. You know, it's pour the plaster into the freaking track, into the depression. You know, the way he was doing it, I thought he was gonna like garnish it with mozzarella or something. You know? For crying out loud! I mean, anyway, yeah. So that was the big, and that, you know, and so that was the kind of the big scandal, the video. I think some people at the camp out saw the video, and I don't know. I guess if you weren't directly involved with the video, you might think it's funny. But since I was, I don't.
Well, I'll have
what else? So and then Dave's wife, Carrie, she's trying. I know she can't cook, Billy, but she always tries to prove that to me. And once again, so when she showed up with these moose pie griddles. Have you ever seen these? Like, their griddles are hinged, but they have long handles. You put them in the fire.
Yeah. She tried that before at the previous camp out, and you know, I don't know what she made with it, but whatever it was like the smoking cinder that she expected me to eat. And I knew when she showed up with them that she's going to try it again. Because she's determined. She's determined to hospitalize me with her cooking. I don't know what it is, Billy. So it was kind of dark there, you know, and then I see her like stuffing. I don't even know what goes into those things, but she's stuffing something in there. It reminded me like, you know, those like colonial frontiersmen like loading their musket. They're really jamming stuff in there. She puts it in the fire. Then, you know, we're all talking, and then she pulls out of the fire. She opens it up, and Billy, the only way I can describe what it was like, it was like a meteorite that had just fallen through the atmosphere. It was like a smoking lump of coal. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not going to eat that. You know? I might put that in someone's stock if they've been bad all year for Christmas, but I'm not going to eat that, you know? And then she made this other thing. It was like she took like a pile of vegetables, put it in aluminum foil, and then put it in the fire. And she's like, "Oh, have some of this." And of course, I'm not a big vegetable guy. You know what I mean? Right.
So,
I know that.
So I wasn't gonna eat that either. But anyway, that was like pretty much the weekend. I see that they're in the chat room now, bad mouthing me.
Hey, you know, that's always fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the recap.
Yep.
I'll have
what happened.
I'll have to see that video.
Yeah. Do you think I should post it? I'll post it.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, it sounds like fun.
It looks like Dave's calling in.
I wouldn't doubt it. Oh, man. You want me to grab it?
Yeah, just grab it quickly because I know he's gonna yell at me.
All right, 814, you're on the air.
Hey, Billy, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
Not too bad. Let me give you my little bit of recap on the weekend. I know you got a guest coming on. I'll make it quick. But First off, I had to start off the weekend worrying about Bruce because we got a little bit of rain, and it was probably over an inch. I was afraid the band was going to drown. But besides that, the guy sets up this tent. It's enormous. It's the Taj Mahal of all tents. It's crazy. Inside, he has a blow-up couch, a table, and throw rugs all over the place. It's absolutely nuts. I'm like, holy crap. Top it all off Sunday, I get woken up by a sweeper. I look in the tent. There he is sweeping all his rugs off. And he has this little maid outfit on. This is absolutely crazy. I can't get over this. This is unbelievable. Then he says, Dave, let's cast a track. I want to see how to do that. I said, okay, Bruce, I'll show you how to do it. You know? And next thing I know, I'm getting videotaped. Well, Dave, that was the whole objective. No. You never mentioned nothing about a videotape. This is, what do you think I was holding the camera for? I just thought you'd be a little bit more competent at it. That's all. Well, I tell you what, I'm expecting a star on my door from now on.
I'll give you a couple stars.
I'll tell you what, Billy, it is an informative video. You have never seen a more informative cash tracking video.
Did anyone get a video of him in the maid costume? I mean, you should add it to it.
No, but I got several pictures of the man snoring in the middle of the day.
There's no makeup. Hey, I was tired. I was out on an expedition all night. All right, buddy?
Whatever.
Billy, there's nothing in this video, like...
It is informative. It's probably the best informative.
What is informative about this video?
How to run out of plaster. They'll show you how to cast a track.
How to run out of plaster, or how to break the plaster cast as you're removing it from the ground.
I was showing you how not to. How not to. I was showing you what would happen if I did that. Ooh, yeah. There it is.
And let me add, if it weren't for Rex giving you some pointers, you would never have gotten it out of the ground. Because you know what? There's nothing more confidence-inspiring than when a spontaneous spectator has to show the instructor how to perform the task he's actually trying to demonstrate in his how-to videos. I mean, that's brilliant.
Y'all are something.
Well, hey, I'll let your guest get on. I'll quit hogging this up, and I just had enough. You know what I mean, Billy. I put up with a lot of crap from this boy.
Well, thanks for calling us in and giving us the real story. So
the real story. That's right. If anybody wants to know the real story, you get a hold of me on Facebook. I'll let you know everything that happened, step by step, and everything that so-called co-host of yours has done.
Well, that's not the real story, Dave. I have half a mind to post
Bruce,
the video.
You wouldn't know the whole story or the real story if it came up smacking your face.
Oh, I have it. Oh, yeah, I have it on video. We'll see about that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. You post that, and it'll be the best how-to video that ever came out, ever.
All right, well, you'll be lucky if you get 5 views on that, Dave. And I bet you
I'll view it 10 times just to get more than 5.
You probably get like 5 thumbs down.
Okay, I got to let you go.
All right, we'll see you, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
That was funny. All right. Well, without further ado, our guest tonight is, let me tell you a little bit about him, Mr. William Barnes. I'm sure folks have heard that name. He's from Utah. He's the owner and founder of the Falcon Project. He's the manager, oversees the entire project. He has over 25 years experience in operating his own businesses. He's been a gold dredger for the last 15 years, and had his own Hominoid sighting in 1997. Managing businesses with attention to detail and getting the job done with the necessary resources has given William the ability to create success without going over budget. His focus is more on creative problem solving. Thus, he solicits ideas from all involved in whatever business he's involved with. Team effort is a huge focal point in working with any group of people that he manages. He appreciates having input from his colleagues, as this helps him to make firm decisions which move the organization in a direction that works well for all involved. He believes that good input from colleagues creates good output and thus well-spent, economically used investment dollars. He's found this approach to be tried in true business practice. Without further ado, we welcome Mr. William Barnes to the show. Welcome, William.
Hey, William.
All right. Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Good.
How are you doing?
Glad you could join us.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into the field of Bigfoot?
My encounter in '97 kind of stuck with me a little bit, you could say.
Was it I assume it was pretty awesome deal.
A little different. Yeah, a lot different. I was mining actually out in the wilderness, and it was quite a interesting encounter. Well, at least I got to see it for at least a minute and a half or more.
That's
and yeah, well, I know they're real. Nobody can change my mind on that. And I just want to be able to film them in the wild, and that's what I studied for years, why the researchers could not film them. And I researched researchers for many years, like 12 and a half years. And that's how the Falcon Project came up.
Now, it's interesting that you talk about filming the creatures. What is it exactly do you think is the main reason you can't film them?
Well, you ain't going to run through the woods trying to film something. It's not going to sit there and say cheese for you, that's for sure. It's just a very recluse animal. And there's only one place left, is in the air. But you need something that can hover. It can also, camera system that can see at least a mile away. We're a non-invasive research group, so we don't want to intrude on the creatures themselves. We just want to study them.
Now, when you created the Falcon Project, did you already have a prototype in mind of what you wanted to build?
Well, actually, it started out with just a single airship. I went through everything, model airplanes, you name it, hexacopters, helicopters, remote, everything remote. Nothing ever stays up in the air long enough. I got about a 6-hour flight time with the dual airship. And
wow.
The single airship probably would have never worked. And Steve Barkley out of Canada, Rats Inc. Incorporated, sent me an email. He said, you need to look at this. I think this will work for your project. And it was a dual airship, just like a catamaran, with a filming platform underneath. And it's perfect. I mean, we had it designed to custom made to our project. And it's exactly what we need. You know, we've had people call us from Africa just to count apes, and Asia to count orangutans, and just because of the stealthiness of this airship and how precise it is. I can stop it on a dime. I can spin it on a dime. It does everything that nothing else can do. Let's say you have a helicopter, but a helicopter's too loud.
Right. Now, what kind of camera system did you put on it?
Well, we want one out of Texas. It's being built, but FLIR is deciding to donate one to us, I believe.
Oh, cool.
But I don't know about the camera system yet that they're donating.
Now, you've already tried other cameras on it, I assume. You were talking about them filming, I guess, apes and stuff in Africa. So were you just using regular, like, cameras, or do you have some kind of night vision type cameras, or what?
This is thermal imaging, custom made out of Texas.
Okay.
It has to be handmade. It takes about 90 days to make. It's a custom made camera. Even the military probably don't have it. And our biggest problem is raising the money for the project. Like I can read right here, the funding and backing of the Bigfoot community is not with the Falcon Project, exactly what it says on one of your blogs here. And I can see the point. They don't see it viable. It's the largest project in the Northern Hemisphere on this subject. And people out there really have to understand what we're doing is very scientific. We don't want to be the first to discover these creatures, but we do want to educate the public on them. We're doing something for the community by educating all people involved in Bigfoot or Sasquatch or North American ape. And, we'll do things that people on the ground are not able to do. And, it's okay if the Bigfoot community doesn't want to help out on the Falcon Project. It's okay. We're going after corporate or whatever funding. And it's a slow process. It's $250,000 plus, and we're paying for technology that nobody else has. And that's another thing people need to understand. If you want to go buy those FLIR cameras or handheld cameras, go around in the woods all day. Go ahead. We have the upper hand on everybody, and this is one of the best ways to prove the existence of this creature. And if this is what people want, we could probably do it. We have probably a 90% chance better than anybody else. I mean, I'm not guaranteed we'll do it. Nothing's guaranteed in life. I understand that, but mathematically, saturation, after a year on the field, we can cover thousands of square miles, and that's what it takes, and you can't do that on foot. So, if we can cover 25, 30 square miles a night, and you add 10 nights to that, that's 250 to 300 square miles that we can cover. And you do that at a year basis, you're talking thousands of square miles. So mathematically, we're playing a mathematical game, odds game. And if this is the only way it's going to work that I can see, I mean, I've studied this since 97, and there's no other way out. And one thing that came in mind, I spent about 5 years out in the wilderness mining, and one thing I always remembered was when I heard a plane overhead, and when it was straight over, a jet, plane, helicopter, whatever, I could usually see it sooner or later. And conclusion is, if I can see you, you can see me.
Right.
And this is why I think this will work. And I see another thing here. It says even the BFRO will not endorse the project, and the reason why is because they've never done anything like this before. They never have. And, that's the reason they want to endorse it, because we're doing something nobody else has ever done. And it's a very large project. It's a lot of high-tech equipment. It's a drone, and, I've got the green light from Washington, D.C. to fly this up to 10,000 feet, and which is, as a civilian, you can't fly drones without underneath a government institution. So that was my main hurdle for the first couple of years, was be able to go above the 400-foot level. And this is the only way we can do it through the university with Dr. Jeff Meldrum, which right. I have a very great panel. They're endorsing my project, to want to stand behind it. I got some of the best people in the world on the panel. And, if the community doesn't want to help out, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. We'll find money other ways. But if you guys out there that do the research and want to know about this creature, we have the best chance to educate you, show you its habits, study it on a nightly basis. First of all, I do want to say we already know where they're at in certain places with 200 square miles. I have a place that's active from spring to fall every year. And I know places in Washington, Oregon, Alaska, northern Florida, mid-Florida. I got over probably 60 people on the ground, individuals, no groups, all individuals that do their own research on the ground. I have a big database where these creatures are, and I'm talking about 15 states, maybe more, about 16 states. So, you know, we have all the information we need. We just need to get the project off the ground. And like I said, you know, we need the funding. I'm not going to beg for it from the big fish community because they don't want to help out. They just don't see it viable, I guess, because of the price tag. But they got to understand, you got to pay for technology. You know, nothing's free in this world. And, you know, this is the best of the best. And you want to send little hectocopters up with a thermal camera for 12 to 15 minutes, go ahead. We want to fly for 5-6 hours at a time. We want to stay on top of them and follow them through the woods. So, you know, it's everybody's opinion on this, basically.
Right. Now, we got one question. I've got one question from the listening audience in the chat room. Digger Dog had mentioned that apparently Dr. Meldrum was on a show last night, and he was explaining somewhat about, I guess, the initial balloon and project may be scaled back for the initial phase. Can you expand on that?
There's a possibility that to get started, maybe use a 35-footer with a smaller camera to get us off the ground while we're waiting to get the funds for the 48-foot dual airship. But I'm still more in tune to the dual airship because what it can do, the flexibility with it, the range with it, the stealthiness of it. Actually, the dual airship was created for the filming industry, and the problem is it's a drone, and even the filming industry is not a government institution, so they can't go up to 10,000 feet like we can. So when Steve Barkley emailed me, he goes, this is what you need. It's been on the drawing boards for about 5 years now, and he's been with me almost 3 years now, and we will do it. There's no doubt. Sooner or later, we will have it. We will get in the air, and it don't matter when.
Yeah, I think, you know, everything, I look at it, everything takes time and money. And, you know, if you're going to put something major like that out there, technology-wise, it's going to take both, really.
Yep.
No.
It's going to take technology. I guarantee you, it's going to take technology to prove the. Go ahead.
Right. No, I was just going to ask Bruce if he has any questions. I don't want to leave Bruce out.
Well, I was just curious because if say we have thermal images of this creature, how will that prove its existence if we can't even prove its existence with a clear, like, photograph or clear video like the Patterson-Gillen film? Like, so how would you, if someone said, well, that's great, that's probably a person that you've been filming down there because we're only seeing the thermal image of it. William, how would you counter that argument?
Well, first of all, we want to follow it. It's not going to be a 12-second clip. It's not going to be a 10-second clip. It's not going to be a 1-minute clip. We want to follow as long as possible, 30, 40 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, because we have a very long flight time. And we might be able to follow them and see where they go during the day. See, that's a big question. Where do these things go? So it's very interesting. What we want to do is because we want to show people their habits, what they do. And hopefully we can maybe find a male, female, and a juvenile going through the woods. That'd be great. And also our camera is high def, and it doesn't show green blob. It's high def, gray, black, and white. And we have zoom, motorized zoom on the camera, and we can zoom right in on whatever we're looking at. And that's the reason we need the hovering. And a lot of people say, well, you know, when a camera's moving, it won't be able to take good pictures. Well, this won't move. This airship can actually hover in one spot. We got GPS. We got everything on this aircraft. And also, we're also looking at laser filming, where you can put a laser on what you're filming, and the camera will stay right on it, which is pretty cool stuff, you know. There's so much technology out there that we're not using. Even on the ground, we don't expand our technology. There's all sorts of things you can use out in the wilderness and create your own electricity and camera system, which people don't even use. And it's just amazing what they don't use and what's available out there, even on the ground. And you know, I get tired of seeing people doing the same thing all the time. You know, groups of people going out where they're going to find. You know, these things know you're out there before you even get out there usually. The only time you usually see one is because either they come up on you or you walk up on them. Or some of them are curious, like my encounter was all curiosity. This creature walked right up 3 feet away. It was just curious, you know, what am I doing in this canyon, I guess. And I sat there for like 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, I was pretty shook up, don't get me wrong, but I was trying to figure out what the hell just happened. And all of a sudden I had this calm feeling come over me, and it was just curiosity. It was just curious. And, you know, they're just as curious as we are. And I went right to sleep, actually. It was very amazing. Woke up the next day, moved my camp, and actually stood outside the tent, see how tall it was and how big it possibly was, around 450, 500 pounds, about 6'4" to 6'7", very, very healthy, very thick, very wide. And I moved my camp across the canyon, sold my dredge a month later, and got out of the canyon. I was kind of spooky not spooky, just felt uneasy being there for the month I was there. And back to the airship is the technology is there, you know, and I'm sorry it costs a lot of money. If you do it, you pay what you get. You get what you pay for. This, you know. You want a cheap camera, you want a cheap airship, go ahead. It's going to get blown away by the air. I can fly in 25-mile-an-hour wind, and the regular airship can only do about 10 or 15-mile-an-hour wind. So we have a better fly time when it's it's a little more windy than usual. We can still fly, which is so convenient about this airship. And plus, it has no props. So it don't make much noise at all. And we can film 3/4 of a mile away. And, you know, that's the big difference. We don't even know how close we can get to these creatures. It's all trial and error. And, you know, if we have to be farther away, we just get a bigger lens. You know, that's all. Our lens right now is going to weigh 16 pounds. It's a very large lens. It's almost 4 foot across. But the technology, like I said, is out there. We need to use it. So I don't know what else to tell people. If the community of the Sasquatch community doesn't like the idea, you know, it's their opinion. You know, I can't force anybody to help us out.
Right.
Well, William, you said you were a mine. You said you were mining. What were you mining when you were out there?
Gold dredging, using dredge, working underwater.
Can you? Because I'm not familiar with your sighting count. Would you be able to tell us exactly what happened when you had your sighting?
Well, usually I never bought a truck in my life, so I usually drive a car down into these canyons. The miners always got pissed at me because I never bought a car, but I would have them haul my dredge in for me. With a truck, because usually my dredge is as big as a vehicle usually. And I came in the night before they're going to bring my dredge in, had a little fire, got something to eat, and just went to sleep. And I can sleep good out in the wilderness. It don't matter what sounds out there, as long as they're all natural sounds, it doesn't bother me. But about 1 or 2 in the morning, after midnight for sure, I heard large rocks sliding down the hillside. And you got to remember, this is a ancient riverbed, hydraulic days from the 1800s, where the 49ers came in California, hydraulic all the mountains, and there was quartz everywhere, quartz gravel everywhere. I mean, don't matter how dark it is, you can still see objects, no matter what. If it was all dirt, dark dirt, I would have never seen anything that night. But I woke up hearing these large rocks sliding, which was very unusual, because usually just pebbles sliding down the mountains all night. That's normal. So anything unusual wakes me up. So that woke me up, and I was in a pup tent, actually. You had to sleep sideways. It was so small. I'm 5'11", and yet I had to sleep corner to corner, and I barely fit in that. And I never put the rain flap on the top because I like to look at the stars when I'm going to sleep. And the whole top was a screen, so I got on my knees looking up the canyon. It was washed out from a flood. There was no trees or anything. And all of a sudden, the rocks stopped making noise, and then this creature, or whatever you want to call it, came around the corner. I thought it was a bear at first, and it's normal up there. And then it went to my right a little bit to the left, to the right, and then a little bit to the left, like wandering down the canyon. It wasn't a straight line. My car was pointing at an angle in front of the tent, at a side angle. And when it got about 30 feet from the car, it was across the hood. And I'm like, that's a little bit big for a bear. Way too big, because it was very high above the hood across. I could still see it from the waist up over the hood of the car, so I knew it wasn't a bear right there. I knew something was wrong. So when it got up to the car, the front of the car, it came straight to the tent. And time stopped. I mean, my heart was beating so hard. It wasn't beating fast, beating hard. And I could hear the beat in my ears. It was beating so hard, but I don't know how long it stood there. Time kind of froze. And then all of a sudden it turned sideways. And when I seen the thickness of it, it was unbelievable. I mean, how healthy it really was. And there wasn't one hair out of place, it seemed like it was manicured. I mean, it's healthy. We call it healthy. I'm from Tennessee. When you see an animal out in the woods and its hair is perfect, it's usually healthy. It's just like when you see a rabid fox or a coyote or whatever, the hair is all messed up. So, it's a sick animal, but this one was healthy. And then I walked across the creek up the side of the hill, which I couldn't walk up, or anybody else, without missing a beat going up the hill, and it totally amazed me. And I probably sat there for 4 or 5 minutes on my knees looking up the side of the hill to see if it's coming back. And that's basically what happened. So I spent many, many years studying everything I could about researchers. I've been yelled at, cussed at. What makes you think you know more? What makes you think you can film it? Who are you? Well, I really didn't care because these guys are still not doing the right thing today. I have nothing wrong with researchers out in the field. A lot of them do a great job, but trail cams ain't doing it. It's hard to have, if you have a sighting and you got a camera in your hand, usually you don't take the camera and point it at it because you really want to see it. And the problem is, like hunters, when they put their scope on it, they see it as bipedal, and your first thing your brain tells you, wow, human, huh? Because it's bipedal, but it's not bipedal. It's not human. It's actually, what I saw was an 8-figure, and I still look at it as it today. I really can't tell you what it is, but my own opinion, just the shape of it, and the head, and the nose, and the chin, it's more of an 8-figure. And like I said, I can't tell you today what it is. I want to study it more, and I also want to educate the public. And this whole project is about education, and we don't want to take land from the government, fight for government and land to protect them, because these creatures have been taking care of themselves all this time. We just want them protected from harm and harassment. So, we're trying to work. I've been trying to work with the Fish and Game, Forestry, and BLM for the last 3 years, and I'm getting good response. It's nothing bad. So I'm adding the government institution into our project. So this way we have more, a better relationship with the government, and at least they know we're not trying to take land from the public. We just want them protected, and that's it. If you're going to fight the government, go ahead. Do it all day long. You're not going to get nowhere. It's going to take years, maybe 10 years to do anything. But if you just have them protected, that could happen overnight once they prove they're real.
Right. Now, I've got a friend who used to kite photographer. And the question is, what does your flying machine, what does it have in place of props? Is it ducted propulsors?
Yep, it's a propulsion system, air propulsion.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from you, Bruce?
No, I'm just kind of interested in because how long can the system stay in the air? And even if the system can stay in the air for say 6 or 7 hours, will you have the ability to run those cameras with whatever power you have for 6 or 7 hours, or are you really limited by how much power you have available to run those cameras?
Oh, we have generators on the airship, so we can run power all the time. Yeah, we're not worried about power. We've already taken care of that part. Engines, we're not. Even if an engine goes out, we can bring it back home because the way the air propulsion is set up is that it won't fail. Even if one engine goes out, we can still fly it. Even if one of the tail fans go out to turn it left or right goes out, we have two. If one goes out, we can still fly it. And if we lose contact, it has homing pigeon, it'll come right back home. We can't lose it. It won't. Even if the wind takes it away, it'll come right back home. And you have to have all this for this type of a project. So this way, we're not in the treetops. We're 4,000 or 5,000 feet off the ground. We're looking straight down in between the trees, looking around lakes, looking up and down rivers, looking up in tree cuts where all the berries are and stuff like that. These creatures are mainly nocturnal. I mean, not all the time, but mainly. And we're so high up we can see everything. I mean, we're not, like the guy on Finding Bigfoot, Mad Moneymaker, oh, you're going to lose it in the trees, you're going to lose it, it's going to get blown away. Well, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. The guy's never mind. But he's he has no idea what we're doing. And, that's the problem, I think, is a lot of people don't know what we're doing. We've been flying over these mountains, is another point we have, for over 100 years now. Now, these creatures have no predators. They have no predators from the air. They have no predators on the ground. So, with us being a mile away, they're probably just going to say, wow, there's another thing flying over the mountain. And they never bother them, so they're probably used to them more than likely. And, it's just a normal reaction because they're used to it. We've been flying over these mountains for so many years, jets, planes, a helicopter I'd be scared of low because it makes so much noise. I can understand that. So we cut the noise out. And I think these things are curious enough to sit there and look at the airship because it's something different. There's so many things that are on our side odds-wise that, it's a perfect project for the research. And it's just, I wish people would understand what we're doing and pitch in. We're not rich. The university signed off on the project. It's only University of the United States actually will do Sasquatch research, which is unusual. But they love the idea. They love the concept. And we have to raise our own funds. That's only speculation. And, we hate asking for money, but we need the money. What else are we going to do? If I had the money, I'd pay for it a long time ago.
Believe me, I know how that is.
And also another thing is we are volunteers. We're all volunteers. We don't get paid for this. We're all volunteers. We only get our expenses paid out in the field, food, gas, and whatever we need. That's another thing I want the public to understand. And it's just, we're not flying Lear jets or anything. This is a 1-year project right off the bat. We're going to be out in the field, and then we're going to take a break and do it again.
Well, keep in mind, William, that depends on who you talk to. A lot of these bloggers say that we make thousands of dollars doing talks and stuff at these conventions and stuff.
I don't get.
Trust me, certain people know who that's directed to. I just had to say.
Well, we're not in it. We're not actually in it for the money. We're in it for education. for the public and also all the people that believe in this creature, and even the non-believers. We can turn them into believers. We do want to do a documentary for the theaters, and this way we can fund the project through the university for years to come. See, I have a big plate to fill. It's not just getting it built, it's funding the project expenses for years to come for the university. So, you know, it's a large project. And I just can't think of 1 year at a time. I have to think 5 years from now, 10 years from now to keep this project going for the university and have students out there in this field actually doing research on a creature that people don't think exists. So, you know, I have a long road to go here.
Yeah.
How would you deal with the tree cover? Now, I've been up in the Pacific Northwest, and when you get, you know, west of the Cascades, there's some pretty thick tree cover. How would your cameras or how would your system deal with that?
Well, nobody knows that these things live under tree cover only. So, you know, here's the problem about this subject. It's what we think, not what we know. So we want to flip it around to what we know, not what we think. Because I put a question on Facebook about a week ago. I wanted to know, what do we really know about these creatures? I had a very little response, very little. We know they're real. We know they're endangered. We know that they are carnivores, and that's about it. And also they're nocturnal. What else do we know? They got hair head to toe. There's not much we know about them. So everything that we talk about this creature is what we think, not what we know. We're all guessing. You know, there's a lot of good points made out there, but we really don't know for sure, and this is what we want to know by studying them, what we can learn from them. And, you know, it's a large, a lot of man hours to make this possible. Omnivorous, I'm sorry, not carnivorous. Somebody just corrected me, but that's okay. If you do in Florida, the skunk ape, the trees are different down there. They're smaller the farther you get down in southern Florida. The terrain's different. The trees are different. Actually, you can see everything on the ground. In the wintertime, we'll be out east in Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, Mississippi, Arkansas, all the hardwood trees. And the reason why, because the leaves will be on the ground. We'll see the ground. We can see everything on the ground just about. And then in the summertime, we'll be in California, Oregon, Washington, and places that we can see. And there's all sorts of places. We don't have to see, you know, a lot of people think they have their doubts, you can't see them because of the trees. Just like I said earlier, I mined out in the wilderness in rough country, and I can see a plane go over when I hear it if it's almost straight above me sooner or later. So like I said before, if I can see you, you can see me.
Now, we had another question come across from Digger Dog. He wants to know that once you have this project complete and you got your airship, do you have a particular state already in mind that you want to start in?
Oh, I have an area that nobody goes to. Yeah, I've got a place that's like I said, it's active from spring to fall. It's a big area, but it's about 1,000 square miles. But it's quite active. I don't even tell people where it's at. I mined up there for many years, and I've talked to old miners that lived out there and in the wilderness year round, and the stories they told me was unbelievable. You know, I found my first track after 3.5-day rain. It stopped raining about 2 in the morning. I couldn't put my dredge in the river because it was flooded. So I knew nobody's been in that canyon because it's so remote. So I figured I'll take a hike up the river, see if I can find tracks. And half a mile from my camp, there in the inside corner, I can see a trackway going up the side of through the sand, going up the side of the hill, and I followed it up. And it was bipedal. And there it was. When I crossed the old mining road, there was the footprint in the middle of the road. And I'm like, my God, half a mile from my camp. And it was less than 8 hours old, or less. Fresh track. And that's how common they are in this area. They're quite common. And there's very few people up there.
Any more questions, Bruce?
Yeah. So William, how do you how do you attribute, or what do you attribute the sort of animosity in the Bigfoot community towards your project? And aren't you surprised that more people wouldn't be behind you? I mean, why do you think people are so, why do you think it's so controversial? I mean, shouldn't more people support this project?
Well, they really should. Nobody knows me from Adam. I came out of nowhere about 4 years ago after researching researchers. I kept to myself. I never talked to people. I mean, I interviewed a lot of people who had sightings. I talked to people that were researchers. They didn't know me. They didn't even care talking to me, actually. They were like, who are you? What are you calling me for? What do you know about these creatures? What makes you think you can find them? And what makes you think you can film them? Because these guys can't do it. That's the thing. And it's more like, why can you do it? If I can't, why can you? Well, if you use the technology, I can do it. That's that's all you need is technology.
Right. Now, when you fly this airship, William, are you going to have to be in constant contact with the FAA when you go, kind of like just like any of your other aircraft?
Well, we'll have a box on a transmitter, and the air towers will know where we're at, and we have to have a spotter or two on the outside from the command post. I keep an eye on the airship at all times. It's regulation, and we have to have a licensed pilot. That's regulations too, with us at all times when we're flying. And the rules are, to a government institution, this is why we cannot get paid, is that we're under research and development, and we have to get a COA. And COA is the airspace, square miles, that we can fly. And then what we do, we get it air certified. And once we get the air certification, we get VIN numbers on the side of the airship. So now this means we can pick areas and have a fly zone. And we have to, call in 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever, ahead of time. And then we can fly in most places. We can't fly over communities, but we can fly out in the wilderness.
Right.
I spent over 2 years with the FAA with no answers at all. I called them 3-4 days a week for over 2.5 years just to see if I can fly. And I finally got a hold of somebody who knew what they were talking about, sent everything to Washington, D.C. for me. The lawyers from Washington, D.C. for the FAA gave me the green light. I'm not doing nothing wrong. And also I'm underneath a government institution. And that's the only way you're going to fly. And, a lot of people said I couldn't fly in the beginning, which I couldn't, over 400 feet, but I told them I could. Knowing the fact I couldn't, but I knew I'd find a way. One way or another, I was going to get this off the ground. So,
right. Now we only got about a couple minutes left of the show, so before we go off the air, if people want to learn more about the project or how to donate, what is your website?
the-falconproject.com, and you have to go into my website. I don't know where it's at because my programmer hasn't been around for a while. There's a place at the university you can send the money. See, I don't handle any of the money. I get money through PayPal sometimes, but I just leave it there. We don't have a lot of money in it, but I'm not worried about that. But the university, we're a nonprofit organization through the university. It's tax deductible. It's perfect for anybody who wants to help out because you can write it off. Corporations can, people can, and it goes straight to the university. See, I don't want to handle the money because if something goes wrong, they can't go look at me. I spent 13.5 years in direct fundraising, and when I found one thing I know about fundraising, when there's a lot of money involved, don't touch it because something goes wrong, you're blamed for it. So the way it's set up, it goes all through the university. And this way, the university handles all the money, which I'm not worried about, and it'll be well used. Let me put it that way. It's not going to be wasted. We're not going to be flying in Lear jets. We're not going to be going across countries to other countries and everything like that on your money. This is all project money, and the only thing we get out of it on the ground is food, gas, and whatever we need on the ground. We're going to be out there for a year. And the same thing with Derek Randall's crew, our quick response team that comes in and collects evidence the following day once we get footage. They collect tracks, hair samples, feces, anything that they can find where we film this creature at. We'll film them as they're collecting evidence too, because we have GPS. And this way, we send it all to the university, and it goes through the panel. See, this stuff doesn't change hands. It all goes through the panel. I don't touch nothing. Derek Randall doesn't touch nothing. It's all sent to the university. And if you look at our panel on my website, it says Falcon Project panel. We have some of the top people in the world on our panel. So, we're not hoaxing nobody. We just want to educate people, tell them the truth about these creatures, what they look like, we're not going to tell people where they're at. That's one thing we won't do. But
right.
we will live stream our project as we're flying, so people can sign up and watch us at night. And get up middle of the night, you can see everything we're seeing, everything.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show, William. Now, do you? I assume we're waiting to raise the money to get the airship completed. But do you have any projections of what kind of time we're looking for this thing to be done?
Well, I wish one individual. I'll tell you what happened. We have turned down over $700,000 already. Okay, because the reason why is because one guy was a trophy hunter. He wanted us to spot it from the air so he could shoot it from the ground. I told him no. Another guy donated military equipment style, airship and everything, and it just didn't work out. So he was donating $500,000 of equipment, and it just didn't work out with the guy. He wanted too much for what he was giving. And so I can honestly tell you that we've turned down $700,000 already.
William, how close are you to getting what you need for this project?
Well, we need a deposit to get it started building, which is $125,000. We can get it for $125,000. We get everything start to build. And Meldrum mentioned we might go to a smaller airship to get us off the ground, and we might just do that, a 35-footer with a smaller camera, which I disapprove of, but to get us off the ground, I'll do it. I don't mind that. FLIR is donating a thermal imaging camera for us. I might be able to get the 35-footer on a lease option, whatever, until we get the dual airship built. But then again, I'm more into the dual airship because of its capabilities. Single airship is a little harder to maneuver in the wind. And I'm still on the dual airship, but I will downgrade a little bit just for a while. And I do want to get the dual airship built because of the stealthiness of it. Everything that it can do is that. In fact, this airship has been designed for our project. I mean, designed specifically for our project. So the weight of the camera, the gyro system, everything, the communication part, everything's been designed for our project. And I still want to stick to what we're doing, but then again, I'm willing to step down a little bit if people want to help out. It's whatever anybody, I've been at this for 4 years now, so.
Right.
It's been a long road.
How much would you charge if I wanted to rent your airship? Because there's a certain nude beach during spring break I might want to set up the cameras on.
Do I now?
I was just kidding. I'd ask how much you would charge to rent your airship during spring break off one of the nude beaches.
Yeah, we can do that. I wish we could, but that would be nice.
The university might not like it.
Yeah, probably so. We do have a lot of boundaries that we can't cross on the university. because actually the university owns all the equipment. I run the whole project. That's the only way it will work. So, you know, I don't even own the equipment. I'm the one who runs the whole thing for the university. And it works. For me, it works out fine. I love the idea how it's set up. It's set up right. It's set up the way it should be. And this way, you know, like I said, the funds are well used. It's not mishandled. And, you know, it's the way it should be. And usually when the problem is, when you have, like I said earlier, when you have a lot of money involved and it goes through a bunch of fingers, guess what? Somebody has sticky fingers along the way. And I spent so many years in fundraising, I eliminate that. So, you know, it's a perfect project. And, you know, people want to help out, send it to the university where Dr. Meldrum is. Give him a call. You can even call him. He'll direct you to where to send the funds. You know, he's welcome to talk to anybody or email him at the university. You know, he'll be glad to direct you in any direction. We're available 24/7 where I am. My number is on my website. My website is my address. My Yahoo address is on my website. My phone number is. You can call me in the middle of the night. I really don't care. I'm available 24/7. You know, yeah, I've been working on this project.
Well, you know, I look at it like this, William. You got one big plus on your side. You know, at least you have a university collecting the money. You definitely don't want the IRS having their hands in it.
Well, I'm not worried about the IRS. I don't want to make no money off of this. Actually, I want to educate the public, and that's it. I don't care about the IRS because, you know, that's their problem. They can do what they want. I don't. You know, I'm working with the government actually to involve the government institutions, what we're doing. Educate the government what we're doing. Educate the government what these creatures are. And also, like I said, don't fight for the land for them. Just fight for their protection. That's it. And that's an easier road if you do it that way. You know, if you want to take a hard road, fight them. Fight them all day long. If you want to take an easy road, work with them.
Right. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show, William. I really do. Taking time out of your evening and talking to us. We certainly would want you on the show again, especially once you get the project off the ground. We would definitely that you'd come back.
Yeah, you can call it. Well, you can call us from out in the field then, because I'm walking all radio shows or whatever to call us while we're out in the field. And plus, where live streams available, we'll have live stream too.
Oh,
so
cool.
People can see what. Yeah, we're going to have live streams set up where it's available, so people can see what we're doing at night. They can see what we're filming. So you can see all the animals: mountain lions, bears, Bigfoot, whatever. You know, we can see a raccoon a mile away. So, you know, we'll see about every animal. And another thing was mentioned was, you know, you're going to probably find things that exist out there that we don't even know they exist out there because we're not nocturnal. So we'll probably see things that we don't even know exist out there other than this creature we're looking for because we're doing saturation.
Right. Very interesting. I appreciate having you on the show. Bruce, do you have anything else?
Just post. You can if you get on my website, you can post where. It'd be nice if post on your website where you can send the money to the university. You can call Meldrum. He'll give you all the information. And just post it on your website all the time where you can donate to the Falcon Project, to the university.
I'll put it up. Yeah, I'll put it up on the radio show site.
Yeah, and this way, you know, it gets the word out a little better. You know, I really don't understand why the Bigfoot community doesn't really want to help us, but I think it's more of, you know, what makes you think you can do it, you know.
Right.
Or maybe it's a price tag. Well, you know, I'm sorry about the price tag. I can't help it. You know, it's actually basement price. I've been quoted as much as over $1 million for the airship, and I've been quoted over $250,000 for the camera system. So I got the camera for $60,000, the airship for $250,000. So I've done my homework on this. I've got it down to basement price for technology that nobody has. So I've done my homework.
That's really interesting. We'll be looking forward to seeing, you know, your airship get in the air and see what the results are.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right, William. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you being on the show. We look forward to hearing from you again. And, if you have any big news come up, just feel free to shoot me a message or an email.
Yeah, I got 3 more shows to do, so.
All right.
I appreciate you guys having me on your show.
Oh, thanks.
All right, thanks
for
for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. You guys have a good evening.
You too. Thanks.
Good night.
Good night, William.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Bruce. I think we ready to wrap up another show.
It goes by so quickly, Billy.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Well, do you have anything else, Bruce, before we cut out of here?
Nope. It's kind of a shame that that William doesn't have more supporters because it seems like an interesting project. It will be interesting to see how it turns out. Whether we get the results we're hoping for.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do for anybody that wants to look into the project and all that, I will post his site up on the Sasquatch Watch Radio Facebook page for anybody that wants to click in and check it out. And, of course, if you feel like donating, I'm sure there's a spot on there to do that. So we'll get that up. And if you don't have anything else, Bruce, I think we'll call it a night.
I think we'll call it a night and retreat to our air conditioning and ice cream.
That's okay. I got to eat first, so. All right. Well, thanks, Bruce. Good having you back on as always. Of course, few people disagree with me, but anyway.
More than a few, I think. So, Billy,
right.
I looks like I will post that video. So we'll keep everyone updated on that and look out for the link. I think we can we can post it up on the the Creature Weekend Facebook page or the website or.
Yeah, we can put it on. We can put it on the Creature Weekend site, and for those who ain't on that, we could even post it on the Sasquatch Watch Radio site too.
All right, cool.
So, all right. So we will see everyone next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Remember to join us again next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We appreciate every one of our listeners. Thank you so much for being here.